Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk to you about the EMA bounce strategy. I have this available for free on my website and also on the MetaTrader MQL5 marketplace. This will be freely available till this Friday, so you guys can check it out if you like. And I also have a blog post on MQL5. I'll share all the links in the description box below. So yeah, let's get started. This right here is the scanner's dashboard, and I'll go over the properties one by one, first with the arrows indicator, and then I will discuss the scanner to find the best signals for this strategy. For now, I have set the max past bars to 1,000 bars, so it will check for the past 1,000 bars and it will try to find the percentage of profit and loss. So based on this, we can see that okay, that euro dollar might be trending and also this might be trending because these are giving good percent values, and everything else that is giving very less percent, these things are probably ranging right now. So this is a trend-based strategy, and only trade when the trends are good and never trade when market is in ranging motion. So let's take a look at maybe this one because we don't have any signals right now. So for the past 1,000 bars, market has been mostly ranging, and you can find the market trends when these moving averages separate. So that would mean that market is trending. Like for instance, if we go back, then right here, these are good trends when these moving averages separate. And the scanner will show you when a particular pair is in good trends, you'll get a better percentage. And these very low percent values, these are when market is not in a good trend. Now let's take a look at maybe this pair. And I'll go to the arrows indicator settings. Before that, let me just show you all the other indicators on the chart so it's easier to understand. These three moving averages are the inbuilt MetaTrader moving averages. So this one is moving average EMA 15, this one is 60, and this one is 120. And you can always change those values right here. In the arrows indicator, you can specify any three moving averages that you like. Make sure that this is the smallest period, this is medium, and this is the largest. Otherwise, the indicator won't work properly because this one has to be the faster MA. Now going back, after that we have this one. This is the MA slope, moving average slope. This is also freely available on my website. I'll share the link. So right now the MA slope is set for moving average number, this one, the middle one, 60. So in the arrows indicator, we have MA slope for this one, the middle one, which is why I'll just go to the slope indicator, and I can change that slope period, the moving average period, to 60. I'll make another video just for this slope MA indicator, and I'll explain all of these in detail, and I'll share that link as well. Right. Now first let's go over the EMA strategy one by one, and then I'll show you all the properties. Right. So here are the steps that it takes. The very first thing that it checks for is that these three MAs are stacked one on top of the other. So for buy signals, it will check that the faster is on top, the medium is in the middle, and the slowest, that is at the bottom. So this indicates an uptrend. And same way for a downtrend, it will check that the fastest is below, the medium is once again in the middle, and the slowest is on top. this indicates a downtrend. So once it has checked that all the three MAs are stacked, next it will look for the price bounce of MAs, and you can set which MA you need to check, faster, medium or slower. So it will check that the price goes up and it bounces off a particular MA and then it goes back up again. So all right now with default settings, we have that it will check for the fastest MA price bounce. So all of these signals are when price crosses the MA downwards and then crosses it back upwards. If we have the medium MA bounce check, then it will only check for this particular price, or something like if price goes below it and above it. So it will only check for the middle MA. And you can set that right here. These are the bounce settings. So you can have faster only, faster and medium, all three, or any of the above. So for faster and medium, it will check that the price goes below the medium and then crosses the medium as well as the faster MA. So it will always check that price comes above the faster MA. And if you set all of these, any of the above, then it will check for if price goes below faster or price goes below medium as well as faster and comes back above, or all three. And skip signal if other MA is bounced. If this is true, then in that case, suppose price goes below the faster and also below the medium and crosses back up above, and I have faster only. In that case, it will skip those signals. Let me set this to true just to show you what I mean. So right here, this signal is skipped and it will show you that bounce too, that the second MA was also bounced. This signal will also be skipped. So these are all debug messages showing you exactly why a signal is skipped, and if a signal occurs, then you will only see this bounce. Bounce means that all the checks have passed, and that's why you got this particular signal right here. These will only show bounce. So these are the bounce settings, and bounce within 5 bars. So this means that once price goes above, and if you have these two like medium as well as faster MA checked, then suppose price has crossed the medium and within 5 bars it should also cross this faster MA. So only then that particular bounce will be considered. Let me show you. Let me set this to faster and medium and OK. So right here, price crossed this one, but it did not close above the medium, which is why we get no bounce too. Means it did not bounce through the second one, or so if we have two MA bounces, it becomes much rarer, which is why you can increase this bounce within max pass bars to something slightly higher. And if you have any of the above, then you will get a lot more signals. So I'll just set it to faster only, because the default settings work great for time frame M5, and you can try out multiple settings for M15, M30, but these are mostly good for scalping. Next we have this min distance between faster and medium MA, and let me go over this first. Now if price is sometimes ranging like right here, then all of these moving averages crisscross a lot. So and when the price is trending, like if it is a good trend, then the distance between moving averages will be slightly higher. So in order to avoid signals like this one, like right here, in order to avoid these signals, we can set this minimum distance. So for M5, we have 10 points. So it will check that the moving averages are at least 10 points. Let me set this to something like 100, and right here you will see min distance. If you get this particular debug message, it means that this distance is not more than what we set right now, 100 points. So you can use the crosshair tool to figure out what the best minimum distances will be. Like for instance, I want to avoid all signals like this. So if I take the crosshair tool, I see that it is 15. So I can set maybe 10 or maybe 15. So it will avoid those signals. Let me change that back to 10. So right here, this distance was 15, and now it will move forward with the other checks. Okay, and max entry distance. Sometimes after a signal occurs, if the bar is very strong, like if a bar is like this, then when an MA bounce happens, for example, suppose this particular thing was an MA bounce, then price has already moved too far from the moving average, which means that the price won't be able to go too far from this particular entry point, which is why we can set the max distance from faster MA and the entry point. So this pink MA and the entry point. So we can set these values in points. And we already talked about the MA, the moving averages. So you can set all of these values. And if you don't want to use exponential, you can also change that. But I would suggest that you use all three as similar types of moving averages, because otherwise you will get too much crisscross and you won't get good signals. So after the MA bounce check, it will next up check the moving average slope. So we already talked about, by default the slope MA period is 60, which is this middle MA. You can also change that to whatever you like maybe 100, 200, and this ATR period. So for this particular slope check, we are using ATR to normalize the slope, because for time frame, suppose M5, if we have the slope value like this particular price and this particular price, and if we calculate the slope angle between them, then for M5 it will be different. And if we move up to higher time frames like D1 or week 1, then the slope values would be much less. So in order to normalize that, so all the time frames have similar slope values, we use the ATR period and the M15 slope. I'll talk about all of this in detail in a moving average slope video, which will be specific to this particular indicator. So for now, these values are the default, and I would suggest that you only change this value. If you want slope values for some higher MAs or for lower MAs. And this slope period is the actual distance between the 2 points. Like it will take the moving average point right here and 5 bars past, like right here. So it will calculate the slope between them. So right here the slope is very less, and if we go right here, so this and 5 bars right here. So this is the angle which it actually calculates. Now angle can never be exact because we are comparing these points with time. And if two things are in different units, then you can never get the exact angle of something. But this is for reference only, so that we can compare these angles with when the MA becomes a little straighter compared to these angles compared to this one. So if moving average angle is between 20. For downwards trends, it will check for threshold -20. For upwards trend, it will check for threshold 20. And you can also change that right here. Change the threshold to maybe 30 or 40, then you will get a much steeper slope. Change this to 10 and it will allow like smaller slope values as well. Next, it will check for the price volatility. So this indicator does not perform well when price is ranging or when volatility is too low. So if I have this CHV volatility set to true, in that case, it will use this particular CHV indicator to calculate those values. But right now we have set it to false. This will be much more useful if you're trading on higher time frames when you want good volatility. So I'll just set this back to false. Next we have use volume. If this is set to true, then it will use these candles, these high volume candles, and you will get fewer signals. Once again, this use candles is much more useful for higher time frames when you want good strong volume candles. I'll set this back to false. And next up we have Heiken, and we are using smooth Heiken Ashi. All of these downloads are also available on the blog as well as on my website. So you can just get these through that. For Heiken, we are using period 2 and period 13 and min Heiken candle length. This will be the minimum length of the Heiken Ashi candles. So let me just open up Heiken and I will set that to the, the periods that we use. We use 2 and 13. So this will be 2, this could be 13, and right here. So that minimum candle length, it will check for these. So if you get debug values like no Heiken min, it means that this candle is not the minimum Heiken candles that we set. And if you don't want to use this check, then you can always delete this whole string. In that case, it will not check for minimum Heiken. And after Heiken, we have other time frame checks. So this will check for higher or lower time frames, and we have all of these checks. So if I have higher time frame MA stack, in that case it will go to the next number of HDFs. Like right here we have 2 and we are on M5. So it will check for M15 as well as M30, that M15 and M30 have all these three moving averages stacked. If I have lower time frame MA stack, then since we are on M5, it will only be able to check M1. But if we were on M15, in that case, if this number is 2, then it will check for M5 as well as M1, the next two lower time frames. If I have both HTF and LTF MA stack, then it will check for both higher time frame as well as lower time frames also being stacked, like moving averages. So this is basically to align the current time frame trend with higher time frame trends. This will give you fewer signals, but suppose if you are not scalping and if you are trading longer terms, like if you are on M30 or H1 and you want the current time frame to be aligned with higher time frames like H4, and if you want H1 to be aligned with H4 D1, in that case you can use this particular MA stack. Or in order to find the higher time frame trends, you can also use the HTF MA slope, or you can also use the lower time frame MA slope. Now lower time frame MA stack or MA slope is a good thing because sometimes when a trend has been going on and when the trend starts to slow down, in that case you will be able to see that you are not getting a good slope on higher time frames. Let me turn a few checks off so that we can see what that looks like. I'll just turn Heiken and I'll just set the lower time frame MA stack. And let me also take this. So suppose the lower time frames no longer align. In that case, you will get these debug messages. No MA on lower time frame for M1. So the LTF is useful while you're short-term scalping and you want to quickly know when the lower time frame trend has slowed down. And the HTF is useful when you want to check the higher time frames, the slope or the moving average stacks for higher time frames. So these checks are very useful if you are trading slightly longer trends. But if you are scalping, then you can keep most of these checks as false. Like I can always set this to none because I'm scalping on M5. I can keep the Heiken to true and leave the Heiken candle length to nothing because I don't want, because on smaller time frames, these, and we have a much more smooth Heiken. So the candle length will be very small. And I've left the volatility off and volume also off. And I'll turn the MA slope on. And using that, I get much better values if I'm scalping. Okay, so I'll just go over a few more settings and then we can check out the scanner. Now all of these arrows are the actual signals, but in order to get these win and loss percentages, we can use these particular settings. Now if you are using binary options and you are only interested in the next few bars, and if you want to see how this will perform, so you can just set the signal expiry bars to 3 or 4 or whatever, and you can set this take profit, fixed take profit and fixed stop loss to false. And I'll also set the stop loss at MA to none. In that case, it will use only the signal expiry bars, and these wait bars after signal are to limit these arrows so that you do not get too many consecutive arrows, because sometimes the price crosses the moving averages several times. In that case, you will get too many signals. So you can use this to a higher value if you don't want, very close together signals. So I'll just press OK. Okay, so in that case, we will only see signal expiry bars. So we have set that to 3 and it will just check that when we get a signal after 3 bars, whether the price goes up or whether it goes down. And you will get the binary options win rate percent. And you can always set that to M1 and you can have, 3 bars or 2 bars and you can get the win rate. Now for binary options, we need high volume bars, which is why I would suggest that you use at least high volatility and high volume bars to get a better percentage. Or maybe even use the higher time frame checks. Those will give you slightly better percent, like higher time frame MA slope or higher time frame MA stack. So just play around with these settings and I'll just set this back to none and I'll go back to the take profit. Yeah. So right here we had signal expiry bars. Now if you're scalping, you can set this to something higher, like maybe 20. So after 20 bars, if it hasn't reached a fixed take profit or a fixed stop loss, in that case it will just consider that signal as closed and it will use these percentages based on this win percent count. Right here we have win count percent based on these win or loss values. If I set that to win points percent, in that case, it will use these point values, like how many points did we get as a win rate and how many points did we get as a loss. And let me set this back to stop loss at moving average. So if you are using fixed stop loss, if this is true, then it will not consider this particular value. But if this is false, and if I use a fixed take profit, but if I want a variable stop loss at a particular moving average, like let me just say faster MA. In that case, we will get a lot more losses, but the loss points will be much fewer right here. So let me set that back to medium. So as you can see, the win points versus the loss points. So you get a higher number of win points because the distance, this loss distance will be much less if we are using this medium MA. So you can have this variable stop loss, or you can also have fixed stop loss, and you can use the ratio to what you like fixed take profit. For M5 we have 160 points. For M5 stop loss can, if it is 20 points, it will be too less. In that case, stop loss will hit a lot more times and you'll get this. But if I have a slightly higher, this one, like maybe 160 and stop loss is like 1/3, or stop loss is like half of that, 80. In that case, you will get much better numbers. So you can play around with based on what you're trading. For forex trading, I would suggest that you keep the stop loss at moving averages. But if you are trading something like stocks and you know that the market trends are usually quite good and ranging markets are far fewer, in that case you can also use these fixed stop loss and fixed take profit values. Let me set it back to the original template, and I had 1,000 pass bars. So you can also set this to 2,000 or 3,000, whatever number you would like to see. If you are more interested in the most recent numbers, in that case, I would suggest that you leave it at 500. So in that case, maybe you will get much fewer signals, but at least you will be able to see exactly what the current market looks like. Like right now, if market is in a particular range or whether it's in a particular trend right here. And the scanner has the exact same settings as the arrows indicator. So you can use the arrows set file and scanner set files interchangeably. And all the settings that the arrows doesn't have, you can set those manually right here. Now all of my scanners have certain common settings, and I will share the link for that post in the description so that this video isn't too long. Let us just go over the EMA bounce scanner settings. So right here, you can set this to show profit points, or if you want to hide these, just set this to false. These are the profit loss count, this win count and loss count, and these are the profit percentage, these values, and this show stop loss and take profit. Currently, I don't have this on the scanner because it is taking up too much space, but in my next release, I will be adding this particular value as well. So I think by Friday or Saturday, when I make the next release, I will add these values and after that the scanner will always stay as a free indicator, but the arrows on the MetaTrader as well as on my website, that will become a paid indicator after, I think, like Friday or Saturday. Right now I have set that to free so that you can just test it out, and if you like it you can leave a review, or you can, if you find some bugs or something else, you can always let me know. But as for adding new features, I won't be able to do that because this particular scanner, it calls the arrows indicator using iCustom, and the limitation is that iCustom can only have 64 settings, and currently our arrows indicator, it has more than 64 settings, which is why adding anything new is not possible. So you can use these max pass bars. If you are more interested in recent values, just set this to 500. So you'll be able to see where price is currently trending, and then you can go to that pair and you can see the bounce, the current bounce settings. So we had a good trend going on, which is why we got good percent. And right here, I think I'm using different set files for both. So I'll just save this. I'll set this to 500. So whenever you make a change in the arrows indicator, then just take this and save the set file. Right now I'll just save it to something like 1temp. Press OK. And whatever changes I make, I can load that same set file in my scanner. I used 1temp, and all of those settings will come over here, and we'll get the new percent values. So you don't have to keep setting everything one by one. You can always share the set files in between. Next, we have this refresh after ticks. So by default, the scanner will refresh every new bar. So if we have M5 and we are using M5, then it will refresh every 5 minutes. But if I have this refresh after ticks, in that case, scanner will refresh every 100 ticks. And you can always see the detailed journal logs in the experts tab, and you will get a refresh. Let me show you. You will get this refresh every time the scanner refreshes these values. And the detailed journal logs will also show you exactly why a particular signal was skipped, or if a signal occurred, then it will also show you exactly where it occurred. And these are all the bar numbers. So you can always see the journal logs, and if you don't want too many logs, you can also set those to false over here. And you can set the pop-up alerts, or if you want sound push notification, if you want all of these alerts to go into a file, then you can also set that, and a custom file name. If you want emails right here, and these values are if you have currently ongoing trades, then you can highlight the open order based on buy and sell. In that case, it will turn, suppose if you have a buy on euro dollar, then it will turn this green, sell will be red, of these colors. And if you have based on profit, in that case, if a pair is currently profiting, it will turn green. Otherwise, it will turn this salmon color. And if you are interested in back alerts, like if I set this to maybe 10, and if you are trading longer trends, and if you want to also see the alerts within the past 10 bars, then you can just set this to, and if you only want alerts when a signal occurs on shift 1, in that case you can leave it at 1. And all of these settings are exactly the same as what we saw in the arrows indicator: signal expiry bars, wait bars, the fixed profit and loss, and the percent point. For percent type, I would suggest you leave it at win points percent, because with this strategy, you might have win count and loss count almost equal, or sometimes if loss might also be more. But if we have a very tight stop loss, in that case, even if you are facing more losses, you will always have a much more higher profit point. So I just leave it at win points percent. You can experiment with the bounce type. So for higher time frames, you can try faster and medium. Like both of these moving averages, the price needs to cross both of these, or price needs to cross all three. So just experiment and check which settings give you better percent for which type of, stocks or indexes, Bitcoin, etc. So something that has longer trends, these will be much more helpful. But for short-term scalping, just the faster MA cross, that will be much more helpful. And I would urge you, like if you find good settings for different pairs or for different time frames, then I would, ask you to maybe share your set file with other users, maybe on my blog or also on the MQL5 website. Like right here in the comment section, you can share your set files so that other users might benefit from your ideas. That's why I have, kept this for free for the first week so that people can try it out. They can share all of their set files. They can share their findings. So it will be much more beneficial to everyone. And all of these other settings are exactly the same as the arrows indicator. So you can try these out, and you can also set all of these colors for this for this particular scanner. So I think that's it for the scanner and the arrows. And once again, like I mentioned, by the end of this week, I will also have this feature where it will show you the stop loss and the take profit point values right here on the scanner as well. And you can go over the blog post. This one has everything in much greater detail. All of these settings are explained, and all of these, strategies are explained in much greater detail on my product page. So you can go through these, and you can also go through these win-loss calculations, exactly how it is calculated for, fixed stop losses versus these variable stop loss. And finally, if you have debug messages on, then this particular section will show you what each of these messages means. Like bounce means that when a signal has happened, when all the checks have passed, then you get bounce. When min distance is when the two MAs are very close together, in that case you get this. When the entry point is too far away from the moving average, the faster MA, then you get this. When volatility is not there, based on this CHV volatility indicator, in that case you get this no CHV and all of these other messages. So just go over these, and also you can go over what each of these values in the scanner means. I think I didn't explain these. So right here you get the number of wins. This first value is that, and these are the consecutive wins. So let me go over right here. So suppose you get 3. So we had 3 consecutive wins. And if you have 1 and 1, So this is the number of losses and the consecutive loss. Let me go over much more, like 3000 bars. So right here, we have 12 wins and 3 consecutive wins, and we have 8 losses but 2 consecutive losses. So these are very useful for those who are using binary options, and sometimes with binary options people use something like martingale. So the consecutive number of wins and the consecutive number of losses are very useful for calculating that. So right here, all of that is explained. And how to trade. So only use this strategy when trading trending markets. So if you get a particular arrow signal, then don't directly, place a trade. Just look through the chart manually, and if you see that these moving averages have separated nicely, and if the trend has been going on very well, and suppose if price is ranging, like you get very small bars like this, in that case, don't place a trade like over here, because if price isn't in good volatility and it's not trending very well, then you won't get a good profit. But once price opens up like this, and if you see that the slope is, this moving average slope is good and the volatility has increased, only then take these signals so that you get better chances. And if sometimes during news events, you might get very long wicks, like I don't see that happening over here. I'll just go back. So be careful when market starts to look like this. This sometimes happens during news events when market is whipsawing, making sudden ups and downs. And when you see, these really long wicks, in that case, your stop loss might get hit quite easily. Like see this one. So don't trade when you have sudden market changes, and don't trade when market is very slow and ranging. You can check out these Investopedia articles which show you what choppy market looks like, what whipsaws are. And as for the strategy tester, this MT4 in MetaTrader, the strategy tester only allows a single pair and a single time frame. So if you're using the HTF and the LTF slope values, then you will get incorrect values. Like you will get very higher values. So if you're debugging with strategy tester, then don't use the LTF or HTF, as that might give you incorrect values. So yeah, I think I have covered everything and all these settings, but please feel free to, write me any questions you might have. Please let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to help. You can just press this and you can leave me a comment right here. And you can also leave me a comment right here on the MetaTrader site. This will stay free for a little while. Just share your reviews and let me know what you think. And I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you enjoy using it and have a nice day, guys. Thanks so much for watching.